So you want to learn how to code, or maybe you already know the basics, but you're not sure how you actually start a project, build something, or solve a specific problem. You don't have to figure it all out alone, and you definitely don't need a complicated setup. Claude AI makes it ridiculously easy to get help writing, understanding, and even improving your code all inside one simple chat. No installations, no IDEs, no files or folders to upload. Just you, your browser, and your curiosity. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact way to use Claude AI for programming, especially if you're a beginner or just trying to make sense of your first few projects. Claude AI is a conversational AI chatbot made by a company called Anthropic. It's trained on a wide range of knowledge, including how to write and explain code in many different languages like Python, JavaScript, HTML, and more. What makes Claude so powerful for beginners is that it's not just focused on giving you code. It's focused on helping you learn, guiding you step by step, and actually explaining concepts in plain, understandable English. Unlike traditional tutorials, Claude gives you instant feedback tailored to your exact question, and you don't need to follow a rigid structure or curriculum. If you're the kind of person who learns best by asking questions, trying something, and then adjusting it along the way, Claude is made for you. You can literally say, I want to learn how to make a calculator app, or what does a function mean, and get a full understandable response in seconds. When you first go to Claude AI, you'll see a clean, minimal chat window. That's where all the magic happens. The best way to start is by telling Claude your goal, just like you tell to a human tutor. You don't need to be fancy or technical. A message like, Hi Claude, I want to learn how to build a Python program that asks for a name and says hello, is more than enough. Claude will understand what you're trying to build and guide you from there. It usually starts by writing a basic version of the code, then explaining each line and often even giving extra advice, like how to customize it or improve it. This is so much better than just pasting code from a blog post because you're part of the process. You can ask things like, what does this mean? Or can you make it ask for H2? And Claude will instantly rewrite the code and explain the changes. It's like pair programming with a teacher who never gets tired or annoyed. Let's walk through a real example. You tell Claude, can you help me write a program that asks the user for their name and says hello? Simple, right? But also extremely foundational. Claude will go on to explain that the input function lets the user type something in, and the print function displays Outback back to the screen. You might then say, can you explain what a variable is? Claude will say something like, a variable is a container that stores a value like a name or a number, so you can use it later in your code. Now you're not just seeing code, you're actually understanding it, which is exactly what makes Claude so valuable. You can keep adding more features like asking for age or favorite color, and Claude will continue expanding the code while explaining each change. Now that you've built something simple, the next step is to build onto it. Let's say you want the program to give different greetings depending on the time of day. Just tell Claude, can you add a feature that lets the user choose morning or evening and changes the greeting based on that? It'll also explain what it means, how the code makes decisions, and why this is useful in real apps. You're now learning basic logic in Python without needing to touch any complex tools or write the code alone. The beauty of Claude is that it's not just a code writer, it's a teacher. You can ask it literally anything about programming and it will try to break it down in a way that makes sense. For example, you can type, what's a list in Python? And Claude will respond with, a list is a way to store multiple values in one variable. Think of it like a shopping list. Then it'll probably give you a code. It's like taking a private lesson customized to your learning style, and you can ask follow-up questions forever without judgment. Now let's make a small project, a very common beginner project, a to-do list. You can tell Claude, I want to make a program that lets me add tasks and shows them when I ask. Claude might write this. At this point, you've already built a basic Python program, like a to-do list app. Instead of jumping into a new language or trying a bunch of different prompts, the best thing you can do now is stick with that one project and make it better step by step. Think of it like building a house. You don't need to tear it down and move to a new one. You can just keep improving the one you already have. This method of improving just one project helps reduce overwhelm. You're learning how to refactor, how to enhance your own work, and how to ask better questions all in a space you're already comfortable in. By staying in one context, your brain isn't jumping between topics. You're reinforcing skills and building long-term understanding. Plus, it's satisfying to watch your original program evolve with every small improvement. Once you've built a solid version of your to-do list or any other beginner project, the next most valuable step isn't to make it more complicated. It's to make it clearer to you. Instead of asking Claude to generate more code or write new features, try asking something like, "Can you explain this program line by line in plain English?" Claude will take your exact code and break it down in a friendly, human way. For example, it might say, "This line creates an empty list to store tasks. This line uses a loop that keeps asking the user for input until they type exit. This line adds the input to the list. This one displays all tasks so far." This gives you a clean mental map of how your program works, not just the code structure but the logic behind it. You can then go one step further and say, "Can you write me a 2 to 3 sentence summary I can use to describe what this program does?" Claude might respond with, "This is a command line to-do list program that allows the user to add tasks, view them, and exit the program at any time. It stores the tasks in a list and uses a while loop to keep the program running until the user decides to stop." This kind of explanation is gold if you're planning to submit the project for class, post it on GitHub, or just want to understand your own logic when you revisit it next week. It's not about writing more code. It's about owning the code you already wrote. You're building not just a program but your ability to talk about code clearly. Something that's absolutely essential if you ever plan to work with others or explain your work out loud. And best of all, you're doing it at your own pace, without any file uploads, confusing tools, or sudden leaps into other languages or topics. You're just sitting in one Claude chat, calmly becoming a better programmer. You're learning how to think like a coder. And Claude is honestly one of the best companions you can have during that process. Think of Claude less like a tool and more like a really supportive mentor who's always available. Someone you can turn to any time of day, whether you're feeling confident and curious or confused and stuck. You don't need to have the right vocabulary or technical phrasing. You can literally type something like, "I don't know what to build next," or "Why is programming so hard for me?" and Claude will respond with empathy, encouragement, and practical advice. If you're feeling overwhelmed, Claude won't rush you. It'll suggest ideas like small quiz game, a simple password generator, or even just writing a few practice loops to reinforce concepts. And if you've built something but feel unsure whether it's good enough, Claude can help you reflect on what you did well, what you might improve, and how to gradually take it to the next level. This type of conversation isn't just useful, it's empowering. It helps remove the pressure of needing to know everything right away. It reminds you that programming is a journey, not a competition. Everyone moves at their own pace. Everyone gets stuck and everyone starts somewhere. So when you treat Claude like a study buddy instead of just a code writer, you get so much more out of it. You get honest, patient, helpful responses, even when all you bring is a half-formed idea or a vague sense of what you want. And that's what makes Claude a game changer for beginners. Claude AI isn't just good at writing code. It's good at meeting you where you are, helping you figure out what you need, and walking with you step by step without judgment, without pressure, and without any complicated setup. All you need is a browser, a little curiosity, and a willingness to ask questions. It's not about having perfect code. It's about learning with patience, building a real understanding, and getting better one day at a time. This has been How to Literally, where we keep it smart, simple, and scam-free. See you in the next one.